Alright, hey everybody, it's Phoenix Flight again. We're going to be taking a look at a higher than usual level replay submitted on the Mechabellum Discord here by the Grouch, who's approximately a 1300 level player. So he was asking in the Discord how to address hacker spam. So we will go about that when we come across it, surely coming up in this game. So our protagonist here is playing as a supply special with tarantulas and crawlers to start the game. Going up against Krenich here, who's a speed special with balls and fangs. So let's just see how this early deployment goes. So let's see, he's going into marksman to help try to take out the balls and have plenty of crawlers to get the balls stuck on. I like this. You already have tarantulas, which are highly countered by the balls, so very important to keep the steel balls distracted. I don't like how close all the chaff is together, just because it makes it easier for the arc lights to use their AoE to eliminate the crawlers significantly faster. Chaff is most effective when it's spread out throughout your formation, so that no surprise is going to lead to an early win here for Krenich. Okay, round 2, Wasp Swarm, Improved Sandstorm, or Sandworm, Vulcan, and Mass-Produced Wraith. I certainly, yeah, the Wasp Swarm, this is exactly what I'd be doing. It would be a defensive Wasp Swarm, just given the lack of AA at the moment, with a single marksman would be completely overwhelmed by the swarm. Okay, so we're going into mass recruit more crawlers. Okay, interesting. Where are we going to put these crawlers? Because we need backliners to come in later after the first wave dies off. Okay, it's in the back. Not as far back as I like, but certainly get the idea of having the multiple waves. Opponent, I'm not sure what the opponent picked, but it certainly was not the Wasp form. Going into a ball stang strat here. Interesting because the traditional ball stang is to put the balls right in front of Mustangs, or Mustangs right behind the balls, just so that the balls are the heavy tanky units while they are protecting the Mustangs behind them. Alright, and then you're also throwing down missiles just to prevent any Wasp form, and then also later in the game preventing any flanks. So you're going to discourage the flanks, which is, if you can make a move that accomplishes 2 or more objectives at the same time, it's generally a good thing. So I'm liking it. Obviously, opponent anticipated Wasp form, so went for the heavy Mustang play, and also is using that as a secondary form of chaff clear. That's a speedier chaff clear than the arc lights, so they can keep up with the steel balls. Yeah, should be another win for Krenich here on the red side as the speed specialist. Okay, so how are we going to combat this? Okay, we got sabers, sledges, badgers, forts. I might be a believer in the saber-tooths, provided that you can have them target the sledge or the steel balls properly here. Sledges in the middle would be okay, as well as like a tanky front line, but we'd want to make sure we go vertical sledges. Okay, so we're going for badgers. This is also okay to help deal with the Mustangs and the chaff, but I feel like right now your chaff is dying super quickly is the primary issue at the moment, so I feel like you need something tankier to eat up a lot of the weak shots. I mean, yeah, you have the tarantulas, but they're not doing enough right now, as is. I mean, the left one's getting the most kills, most damage. I would certainly want to prioritize a rank up on this guy, given how well he's going. But yeah, enemy also going for the badgers, really prioritizing chaff clear pretty heavily so far in this game. Got more balls, more stangs in the back. I mean, this enemy is pretty vulnerable to some storm callers up the middle here. You know, maybe a storm here to punish the slow fangs and slow badgers, slow arclights in the middle. But we're going phoenixes in the back, which is kind of a perplexing play given we already saw mustangs and plenty of fangs to help deal with all those. But let us see. Yep, so this is good with the crawlers coming in, distracting the balls. But yeah, both sides, fire badgers getting a lot of work done, but the enemy here placed his just a little bit more efficiently. Well, yours got stuck on the chaff, or on the balls rather, a little bit more. So this is the value of having some tanky frontline units to eat up the light attacks like that. So it should be another straightforward win here. Yeah, this is nothing like egregious by any means. You know, especially at the 1300 level, everybody's got the basics down at this point. Okay, Bombard, Underground, Assault, Scorp, Interference. Okay, Bombard is really good against all these light units in particular. Yeah, Underground wouldn't be doing much with how much chaff clear there is. Assault Scorp would be at least a little interesting. I'm personally not a fan. I value the range on Scorpions a lot in standard 1v1 games like this. And then anti-interference, I see no purpose for it right now with no hackers, but supposedly there was a hacker spam coming, so we will be on the lookout for it. Okay, so what are we going to be doing with the 900 supplies left? And also, opponent went for the underground threat. Oh. Okay, so you're going for the hackers. Okay, so you're going to go hackers into the balls and badgers, I would imagine, so on the sides, covered by chaff. See, so this is interesting because when we're having hackers like this, like they need time to get the hacks in, otherwise they do nothing, right? It's an all or nothing, high risk, high reward play. So I'm certainly interested on, if we're going to go hackers, I would think we'd want some fangs, maybe like here and here to split by the tower, just to be some slower chaff that can help defend the hackers a little bit. And then also very risky to not respect the orbital bombard, but you got lucky, the enemy did not go for it. So yeah, this should be a swing round for sure, I would imagine. And yeah, the other a little optimization as well I'm seeing, we should have remembered that the enemy was speed specialist, so we should have put that a little bit closer. Just given, you know, how fast his units are, I'm able to avoid. But see, this is going a lot better now, so the balls are getting stuck, and that gives the hacker time to steal the steel balls. A little bit of an anti-synergy here with the Phoenixes and Marksmen, where the hacker will be hacking, and before it finishes, a Marksman or Phoenix will get a kill. But that's just sort of an optimization, or at least something that needs to be considered. I mean, the Phoenix Marksman anti-synergy doesn't matter as much if you're going up against, say, you know, war factories or giants. Then it's less of a problem. Okay, let's take a look at these unit drops here. Sledges, rhinos, wasps, sabers. Well, we're not going wasps with how many... Okay, he's already went for the sledges. I would have gone either Saber Cash or these sledges, just because the rhinos going down to the balls really quickly. Wasps are going down to the mustangs. Yeah, it's either these guys or Sabertooth and just sell it. I would be considering armor enhancement just to be able to eat a lot of the damage from the fangs and badgers here. Just as long as there's enough chaff to distract the steel balls, they'll be in great shape. Okay, so we're going into, what is this, napalm? Okay, so napalm on the badgers to wipe out the chaff faster, and then we're going into multi-control on hackers. I'm not a fan of multi-control per se. I would certainly prioritize range or maybe even barrier if you're more of an aggressive player first before we go into multi-control. Like, I do like multi-control, but like I want to be a believer in the hackers first. I want to, you know, see sustained success for like 2-3 rounds before we commit that hard into hackers. But all right, we're giving it a shot. Looks like the wasps here are going to be posing just enough of a problem for you here. So it looks like the enemy's going to be able to come back this round. Okay, maybe I just misread it on the Discord, but it sounded like the original ask was how do you defend against hacker spam, but this is clearly how do you use hacker spam. And yeah, if you're going to be in a standard v standard match like this, range specialist is certainly one of the strongest cards you can have. It's definitely not as crazy as it once was, where it was pretty much if you don't pick it, you lose. But enemy could be seriously considering steel ball production line if he goes into a giant, but still in a giantless game so far. And yes, I know the range is expensive, but if you're playing lots of small units, it's not as important to save that cash. There's just such a long-term benefit to having the extra range across all these units in a standard versus standard match. Okay, so we're going another defensive wasp drop. Mustangs in the back to help with these enemy wasps. Let's see, does these enemy wasps have... They do have jump drives, so I understand why you put them on the outside, just in case he jump drives them elsewhere. So you're unsure about keeping them in the middle. Very smart barriers from the opponent to get the fire badgers stuck on those. Or also, it's another great way to counter hacker spam if the units are actually in the barriers, but these steel balls are short range units, so therefore they're going to come out of the barriers and be exposed to the hackers. But the wasps doing a great job at dealing with these hackers here. I mean, the marksman can't deal with the wasps efficiently. Okay, so we're still winless. But you know, Mecha, I mean, all it takes is one turn, you could do 3,000 damage, no problem, and get right back in it. Skipping all these, let me think here. So I would have considered skill specialist just so we can get Orbital Bombard and Wasp Swarm back a little bit faster, but it's certainly not a bad idea by any means. None of the others really stand out for me. I don't. Maybe the Photon a little bit for your frontline units, like these sledges and badgers in the front, so they can stay alive a little bit longer, but certainly not a huge deal. It's more of a personal preference thing. Is it really worth the 100? Okay, so we're going anti-air on the Mustangs. Given how many wasps there are, I understand. I mean, at this point, you know he's committed to the wasps, so we really need some Mustangs in the middle here. At this point, is this hopefully what you're doing? Oh, and you're loaning, which I do agree with. At 1,300 health, with how many units there are this late in the game, you're certainly liable to lose on any turn. And man, we are believing in the hackers, going for the triple tech with range and barrier. So we're going to make him tankier. And then we're also going temporary range. Enemy did go for range special, so he's at least matched that. He's also a believer in the wasps, giving him for like a carry wasp style here, going for range and EMP. And also pushing for the kill shot here, going for temp range and temp speed. This really comes down to how quickly they can punch through the hacker barriers and distract the hackers with chaff. But now with the Mustangs in the middle are going to make a huge difference along with the anti-air technology here. So this should be a big swing round here for our protagonist in Mr. Grouch. Yeah, enemy's doing the smart thing, getting the hackers stuck on the barriers. So if I'm the opponent, I'm thinking maybe I go into giants. Especially fortresses with barrier would be a really good option, and just spam them across the front line. given that you don't really have any major heavy hitting units other than a few marksmen and phoenixes right now. Like, you don't have any storm callers, or well, sabers or boats would break through that if you go that path. I mean, I'm certainly not going Wraith with how many wasps there are at the moment. Sandworm is interesting, but I'd be concerned about it, especially with how wide open the board is. So to me, it really just comes down to probably the boat is the safe pick, even if you just sell it right away. Which I believe is the case. Oh, no, it's in the... Nope. No, it just got sold. Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, definitely going range on the Mustangs. This... Yeah, 4 Mustang packs with range and AA. That should shut down his wasps for the rest of the game. So now I would be thinking mostly about storm callers at this point to help assist with taking down those barriers early for the hackers. Okay, instead we're going to be a believer in carry hacker with building 2 more and then a 5th set of Mustangs here. I mean, this is fine, especially because now the hackers are getting work done. I would say it's kind of debatable whether you push for the rest of the game here at 1300 health. I mean, given that he has no giants, there could be an argument to be made to not push. Okay, you are going to push, and you're going to take temporary range. Yeah, round 8 onwards, we're going temporary range every single round. Don't need to overthink it. It's just too important at this point in the game. Okay, crawler drop in the back does a little bit of distracting. Nothing too significant, though. And now it's one of those things where enemy didn't really address the hackers all that greatly, and now they're starting to get out of control. To deal with the hackers with like this, we need storm callers to break down the barriers, plenty of chaff to distract them, and or fortresses with barriers as well, especially because those barriers scale with level. So like a fortress fang based composition is a really good counter to this. Okay, so are we going javelin or senior defense? I'm not really seeing a value in elite crawler currently, nor improved sandworm. So, all right, we're going javelin. Where and you got the orbital bombard. So where are we placing those? Okay, so you really want to take out those really strong wasps. Orbital bombard is truly devastating to wasps in particular, just because as air units they cannot defend themselves from it. I mean, the enemy should know that the orbital bombard is coming, and he should shield against it. You're already doing that via your hacker barriers, but plus some additional shields as well. But yeah, nothing you can do about the orbital javelin unless you're trying to play mind games and predict where it's going, and you try to sell a unit and move it somewhere else, but don't really think that's going to be the case here. Okay, temp range, temp speed. We went for these upgrades earlier. Enemy by now really needs the attack and defense. It's kind of unacceptable by round 9 to not have these. Not understanding what the purpose of Wraith with regen is. We have high level Mustangs that'll just tear right through them anyway, along with some marksmen. Or there were marksmen earlier. Were they must have been. Oh, here's one. Yeah, they might have been. Okay, there's just 2 marksmen left. The phoenixes must have been sold off earlier. Yeah, not much you can do about the orbital jav, but so you mean like if I'm the opponent, I'm looking at this barrier. It's stopping both the badgers and the hackers. So to me, the obvious solution is going to be forts with barriers as the foundation on how to counter this, but it's one of those things now where it's going to be a little bit too little too late. One of the key things about winning a Mechabellum is you got to shut things down before they get out of control like this, because any unit in this game can be a carry unit if you don't respect it. So well done, Grouch, winning this game. I feel a little bit bamboozled. I thought I was going to go into this trying to figure out how to stop hackers from your perspective, but let me see if I could have changed the game by being your opponent. It might be too little too late, but I'm going to give it a shot here. So let me take over for Krenich here. Let me try that again. Okay, so we're still going to do the orbital jab just because the big hacker is a massive problem. We're going to go... Where... Let's go fort. Yeah, I think this is a situation where it's probably too little too late, but I got to at least try it. Have to borrow at this point. Barrier, barrier, and then another one up the middle here. Again, I don't think this is going to be perfect, but hopefully can do a little bit better than what we just saw. Alright, see now this hacker on the right, or the hackers are getting stuck on the fort. And then because I had a shield on the orbital, it's a little bit better, but... Yeah, this is a situation where I don't know how Grinch could have won this game. If Stony wants to take a look at it, I feel like if for Krenich to come back in this one, he had to be doing fort barrier plays. Did even worse. Or no, that's the other way around. I'm sorry. All right, so I would say the main takeaway from this is barriers and chaff are the primary ways to slow down hackers and distract hackers, and then air units to eliminate them, just given that they can't attack air as one of their big weaknesses. All right. Well, not used to handling replays at this level, but very much appreciated for trying to provide some different kinds of feedback here. So I hope you get something out of that, Grouch. Thank you for submitting to the Mechabellum Discord. Keep playing Mechabellum, keep making mistakes, keep having fun, keep asking questions. All right, have a good day. See ya.